Hello everyone, here I am again to do another video on my request list, and that is for a life path 9 who has an expression number 2. Now your life path 9 is the most important number in your chart. It's your difficulty, it's your challenge, but it's what you're here to achieve in this lifetime. In other words, this is what you're here to get better at. This is your purpose for this lifetime. This is the next step in your personal spiritual evolution. So all the other numbers in your chart exist to support your life path number, because that is the reason you incarnated and the lessons that you decided to learn for this step in your spiritual evolution. So the life path is your purpose. The expression is the most important of the chart numbers below the life path, and that contains your talents and abilities. So what we've got here is your life path 9, the most important thing, which is your weaknesses that you're here to achieve. And then the expression number are your talents that you brought with you to help you achieve and transcend your weaknesses in this lifetime, therefore achieving or taking the next step in the achievement of your life path 9. So when you're a life path 9, your difficulties, challenges, and areas of development, things to learn and achieve in this lifetime are, there's quite a bit, and I'm going to break them all down into 10 sections over the next 30 minutes. So you're here to develop a strong intuitive wisdom. And you're here to also have ideals and spiritual wisdom, study spiritual law, and use what you study. When you study in the world and you look at spiritual law and you look at the ideals of the world, you're here to filter that, like the 7, through your intuitive wisdom. So study in spiritual law, put in your knowledge through your intuitive wisdom, developing your intuitive wisdom, listening to your intuitive wisdom, and of course, encouraging other people to listen to their intuitive wisdom, because the life path 9 is very much the spiritual teacher, and that's what you're here to develop towards. So you must develop or learn to listen to, action, and develop the intuition that is already inside you, and develop it further, and study spiritual law. Trust faith and spirituality over worldly logic. Very, very important for the 9 to do that. But whilst doing that, they must be extremely ethical and extremely responsible, because the 9 energy can be very strong, capable of great positivity, and can enhance the well-being of others to the nth degree, or it can do exactly the opposite and destroy people if the 9 decides to be low level and selfish. So you can lift people to the heavens, or you can drop people right down. And the 9 is here to learn to be ethical, so that they're always lifting people up and raising their well-being. They're here to learn and develop excellent communication skills, so that they can verbally influence others to practice their preached wisdom. The 9 has so much spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and intuition inside them. They need excellent communication skills then to be able to communicate to others that preached wisdom, to be able to influence others in that way as a teacher, a speaker, a counsellor, and an advisor, and an entrepreneur that markets their talents. Now, these aren't easy tasks for a life path 9 to achieve, because the 9 is a very developed number. So the 9 is going to have some difficulty achieving this, but they brought with them a particular expression number that is going to help them. It can never help them with all elements of their life path, but it can certainly help with a good few of the elements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a chart, about 10 charts, and on the left hand side is the element of the life path you're here to achieve. There's normally between 9 and 10 different elements within each life path. That's before you look at the sub lessons. And then next to it on the right hand side, I'm going to put how the expression number 2, how the number, the energy of the 2, your talent number, your talents and abilities, deals with that element of the life path. Now, some elements, the 2 is really going to be helpful, especially when it comes to intuition and being around others and developing your social skills. And there's some elements of the expression too that may cause, that may not help the life path, or may sometimes a little bit exacerbate the difficulties of that life path. And of course, I'm going to bring you that to your attention, the things you're going to be able to do well, and the talents that you should be using, that you already have, and the difficulties that you may encounter, because knowledge is the first step to being able to deal with them. So your expression number 2 is a team builder, cooperative. They're intuitive. They're able to assess the needs of others on an intuitive level because they're a service energy. So when you have an expression number 2, you're very, very service orientated and extremely intuitive, which is amazing for your life path. You're amazing at building relationships, deepening relationships, pulling together teams, cooperating, bringing harmony to teams and resolving conflict. You're extremely responsible, and you can be depended upon to get things done, to keep the cogs turning, to plan effectively, to keep everything running smoothly in the background often, because you're not necessarily the one that likes to stand up front, which can be a difficulty in the Life Path 9 when you're here to communicate with groups of people, but we'll get to that. So you're highly intuitive, amazing for your Life Path 9, and sensitive to the needs of others, being as your Life Path 9 is here to improve other people's well-being. This again is a good talent to have. And you are inward looking for validation. Again, the 9 needs to be inward looking, and a healthy need for love and enforcing healthy boundaries. The boundaries thing is going to be a little bit of a sticking point, because both, the 9 can do too much and so can the 2. So excellent social skills, tact, diplomacy, a bringer of harmony, all helpful to the Life Path 9. Okay, so let's break down the Life Path 9 into the different elements. So the Life Path 9 primarily is here to learn to follow their intuitive wisdom. So you're here to learn to go the spiritual way, to turn away a bit from worldly knowledge, worldly news, worldly ideals, worldly concepts, worldly things going on, and look towards the deeper level, look towards the spiritual, and develop your spiritual abilities, especially that intuition, because you're here to learn to follow your intuitive wisdom and live to spiritual laws that resonate with your intuition, rather than worldly laws and conventions and ideals and prejudices and sometimes bigotry. Because this is going to be a struggle for the 9, what they're here to achieve is their challenge, really. So they tend to follow worldly laws a bit too much. They can have prejudices, and at worst can be quite bigoted. And this bigotry can be an excuse for quite nefarious actions from the 9. But this is the 9 at their worst. And they're here to develop towards following their intuitive wisdom, because if they had followed their intuitive spiritual wisdom, they wouldn't have acted that way. They wouldn't have been bigoted in the first place, because their intuition and their search for wisdom would have got them past the idea of race, straight away, because it would be part of your spiritual wisdom. So you're here to learn to develop yourself spiritually and develop your intuition, and darn well trust on it. Faith over logic. Faith in spirituality over worldly ideals. So your Life Path 9 needs you to follow that intuitive wisdom from source energy. Your 2 talent is great here because it makes you sensitive, extremely intuitive. You favour people, you favour the subjective over the objective and the logical, which again is good to help the Life Path 9 along. But your social focus and your gentle nature makes you an excellent counsellor. You're very tactful, you know when to say the right things, you're so intuitive and tuned into others. Less likely to act on any prejudices, or even have many in the way of prejudice. That you're less likely to even act on any prejudice, even if you feel taken advantage of, or unless you feel taken advantage of. It depends on the level of the 9 and the level of the 2, and how they're using their talents and how far they are down their path, to be perfectly honest. So to support your Life Path 9, use that 2 talent for intuition. Very, very useful to help you to focus on your intuitive wisdom and being spiritual and trusting faith over logic. because this is step 1 for the Life Path 9. You're here to learn to act with responsibility and integrity, because someone as powerful as a 9 needs to ensure that they're developing towards people's well-being and not to their detriment. So you're here to learn to act with integrity for the benefit of others. You're powerful, and you must use your power for the benefit of others, for the well-being of others, because at your worst, you can act for selfish and nefarious reasons. So your Life Path 9 needs you to develop towards using your incredible power and your incredible sort of knowledge that you have within you to help others for their well-being, not for your own selfish, nefarious reasons. Your 2 talent energy gives you a gentler energy about you, a talent about you, with huge compassion and gentleness, empathy, and a very, very loving attitude of service to others, a very compassionate, caring, innately within you, which really supports the 9 in, acting with integrity, because you care about the well-being of others. So to support that 9, use that compassion, really capitalize on your love of others and your, the fact that you're a very healing energy. Use that compassion and healing energy and people focus to ensure that you always act for the good of others, which is amazing and splendid for the achievement of your Life Path 9. You're here to learn to lead by example. Are you practicing what you preach? Because that's what you're here to do. You can be quite domineering. An advisor with all the answers, which can sometimes make you a bit of a meddler and a stamper on other people's lives, like getting too involved with other people's lives and making decisions for them that you shouldn't be making, because it's their life path to make those decisions. So you can be quite domineering, and you must let others make their own mistake, because they have a life path too. So your Life Path 9 needs you to lead by example. Whatever your ideals, your intuitions, the spiritual laws that you embody and manifest them in your life, so that you lead by example, by your everyday action, by everything you do, not just at work, not just, when you feel like it, but all the time, living that life which links back to what you preach, the spiritual law, the spiritual wisdom, the intuition. You must lead by that example, by being that example. So you advise and you show people an example, but not do it for them and not take over their life. Very important for the 9 to do. Your 2 talent energy makes you an avid helper and an advisor of others, which in a lot of ways is amazing for the 9. But like the 9, you can do too much. You can forget your boundaries. You can exhaust yourself in the 2. You prefer to follow in the 2 rather than lead by example. You prefer to be in the background, and you prefer to serve others and support rather than lead. And of course, in the 9, you can be a bit of a meddler, because you can come across as the fixer with all the answers, and you end up not doing enough for your own life and trampling on the path of others, because you're making decisions that they should be making. So support your Life Path 9 by developing your ability to lead by your positive, your giving, compassionate and intuitive example. Live by your values, your ideals, your intuitions, everything you teach to others. Live by it and embody it and manifest it. So live by that compassionate person, live who you are, and establish firm boundaries on how much you will do for others. Very, very important, because both the 2 and the 9 can forget their boundaries and not do enough for themselves and do too much for other people. And equality, interdependency needs to be found between the 2 there. You're here to, as I've just said, taking it further, to make your life your teaching. You can even counsel people in what you do, counsel people in your information and wisdom, anything that you can't embody in your life, direct counseling, direct teaching, using your wisdom and sharing that wisdom. You're a developed soul, and you're here to share that wisdom with as many people. You're very multifaceted. You're a totality of all the numbers in numerology, full of cellular experience and higher knowledge to pass on. And the study within your lifetime of spiritual knowledge, wisdom and law can also be added to that, to your teaching and your counselling that you do to your community and the world. You're here to be very humanitarian as well, but we're going to get to that bit. So your life path 9 needs you to channel intuitive wisdom, as we already know, and to live by this wisdom, to teach others, to counsel others, and to actually be a bit of an advisor to others, but with healthy boundaries. Because your talent energy is intuitive and compassionate and caring. You're able to listen and connect with spirit, and your very self is about promoting and looking after other people's well-being. So support that life path 9 by channeling that beautiful intuition that you have inside you, then manifesting your intuitive wisdom in the real world by living by it, by teaching it, by counseling it, by advising others. So not just by the way you live your life, but also by direct teaching, direct speaking, like a spiritual leader in very much ways, very much a teacher and a spiritual leader. You're here to learn to be that humanitarian I just commented about and make the world a better place. Remember, the 9 is here to look after the well-being of others, not to destroy others or be selfish and look after their own well-being. You need to develop more of a global consciousness, more of a non-judgmental global consciousness that gets rid of all your bigotry and you might not have bigotry, don't get me wrong, any possible prejudices or discriminatory ideas that you might have previously had or be getting rid of now. That's kind of what you're here to do, or one of the many things you're here to do. So your life path 9 needs you to accept others more, understand that they are just soul beings, have a global consciousness, and consider others as a humanitarian. Realize that we are all one, no matter where we come from or who we are. But your 2 talent energy makes you excellent at caring about and serving those less fortunate. But you tend to focus more on those closer to you than those distant. The 2 is very good at nurturing those close and those around them directly, by direct contact. However, the 9 is saying expand a little bit, bring it outwards. And that's going to take more communication to bigger groups, which the 2 is going to struggle with and be very shy about. So support your life path 9 by using that beautiful innate compassion to be that humanitarian, but spreading that wisdom, care and compassion further afield than to those that are close to you and your family and community, because the 9 is here to learn to be a humanitarian. You're here to learn to take responsibility for those powerful choices. Remember, I kept on about those ethics, because you can sometimes run away from the consequences of your powerful actions. The 9 is very powerful. People will follow the 9. So whatever a lot of the time the 9 says, people will follow them, and they can create great things or they can lead people to their destruction. So responsibility is so vital for a life path 9 to have. They're here to learn to take responsibility for their powerful actions and change and make it right and do better next time, so that they understand and make sure they help people and improve their well-being and not hurt them or destroy their well-being. So your life path 9 needs you to use your immense power responsibly for others' well-being and keeping others' well-being at your core. The 2 talent energy is marvelous with that. It's going to help you greatly, because the 2 is incredibly responsible, sometimes too responsible, but the 2 is innately responsible, which again is extremely helpful for the life path 9. So use that innate responsibility and ensure that you have always got responsible and good intentions to support your life path 9. Very, very important. You could develop towards being an entrepreneur that markets their passions. The 9 is very much about marketing their interests, their loves and their passions. And the 9 is here to do that. All that wisdom, all that knowledge, all that teaching ability and entrepreneurship ability and communication ability. You could take that forward and be a very successful entrepreneur. But of course, there's going to be difficulties there. But this is what you could develop more towards, developing being a business person and an entrepreneur with something you feel passionate about. You must choose work that has meaning for you. You're a powerful force for change. That's what you're here to do. So your life path 9 needs you to use your passions and skills in passions in the spirituality and spiritual wisdom and skills in business to be a successful entrepreneur and bring about positive change and the well-being of others, not just close to you, but around the world too. Because your 2 talent energy makes you excellent at persuasion and meditation and mediation. Meditation. They are actually good at meditation, but your 2 talent energy makes you excellent at mediation. You know, persuasion, calming down the 2 sides and coming to an agreement that suits us all, both compromising, both accepting similar things. You're able to almost schmooze clients to your will in business when you use your 2 abilities to their fullest. So to support that life path 9, you must use your abilities in the 2 to schmooze clients, and your passions, your spiritual wisdom-filled passions, whatever they are, the basis for your spiritual teaching, no doubt, your intuition, your sense of responsibility, your practical ability, and your social ability to bring about very good business success. You have that potential within you. You're here to develop excellent social skills and charisma. Develop skills of a powerful speaker. Remember, I said you're here to spread your message. You're here to spread your wisdom. You're here to spread your intuition, that beautiful knowledge that you have inside you, to more and more people, because you're here to develop more charisma. And when you do that, people will hang on your every word. That is what you're working towards. In the 2, that's going to be a shy thing for you. You know, you need to be a powerful speaker. The 9 is saying be a powerful speaker and an influencer of others, because your 2 talent energy will help you create relationships. People are going to trust you more because you've got that 2 talent ability to deepen and develop relationships with others. But you are very shy. So the limelight of people you don't know, or big groups, big audiences, because the 9's here to share their wisdom. So you could struggle to speak to groups. You may have to start by teaching small, one-to-one, and then maybe expanding, or, you know, doing step by step so that your message, your wisdom, your knowledge and your teachings go further afield than just people that are standing around you. So support your life path 9 by working on your potential to speak more confidently to others, you know, to really use your spiritual knowing, to know what you're saying and the wisdom you're passing on is true. And this will give you added confidence to know that not only is this wisdom true because you know it is, but it's helping other people. This would help motivate me, and I hope it would motivate and inspire you to develop towards spreading that wisdom to more people, to speak confidently and passionately to groups so that you can share your amazing wisdom for the world. So this isn't going to be an easy thing for a shy 2, but it's important for a 9 to share their wisdom. And, you know, even if it takes the 9 a while to do so, the more you share your wisdom bit by bit, even with others, the better. You're here to look after the well-being of others, as I keep on about. But when you're in trouble, you know, you look after others and meddle in their lives, as I keep saying. And you're great at looking after others. You're the wisdom-filled advisor. Everyone comes to you and you like to advise other people. However, when you're in trouble or need support, people don't notice because the 9 doesn't like letting people know they need help. The 9 doesn't like asking for help. They're like happy to help other people. They're happy to even, you know, overstep the mark, helping other people too much. But they're often not willing to ask for help back from others, you know, and you must. That we live in an interdependent world, and it's important that the 9 learns to ask for help as well as give help, to develop a balanced sense of interdependency, to look after others, but allow others to help you too, and to express your needs to others. It's not a weakness to express your needs to others and ask for help. You know, sometimes you need it, and you can exhaust yourself if you try and do everything. So your two talent energy makes you able and willing to speak interdependently with others. You know, you're very you love to be helpful and serve others, but you are prone to giving too much, getting a bit too involved, as the same as the 9, meddling, and eventually exhausting yourself and burning yourself out. So you're here to look after the well-being of others, and you have the talent to do that, and you must do that. So support your life path 9 by helping others' well-being, but by having clear boundaries on how much you will do, and be happy for other people to do back. You know, it's interdependency. It's not a weakness. You must ask for help too. We are all one, and we are all interconnected. And it's very important that the life path 9 realizes that. You're here to wrap things up, let go, and surrender. The 9 is about endings. The 9 is about letting go of things that no longer serve you. You're here to let go, surrender, and not hold on to things that have hurt you. For example, a lot of 9s and 4s can have very much a victim mentality. They can hold on to feelings that no longer serve them, like being unable to move off from previous trauma with family members or previous experience where they feel that they've been treated unjustly, and they're unable to move on from that perceived injustice. They're normally rooted in family, but they hold on to it instead of treating it as an experience to learn and develop. So it suggests in the life path 9 that you hold on to a victim mentality at times, and you can fail to move on. And at your worst, you can be quite vengeful and use it as an excuse for quite nefarious action, but that is at your worst. And your 2 talent energy is gentle, very sensitive, easily hurt, and easily hurt emotionally, most definitely. You're often and can be very naive and vulnerable, especially vulnerable to nefarious ideas and nefarious people. And you could hold on to resentment from this, because anything that's happened to you in your past is going to have affected you greatly because of your 2 sensitivity. And you know, you would have held on to whatever happened to you quite deeply, and you would have been hurt quite deeply and emotionally. And there's every chance that you could be holding on to that deep emotional pain, and it's something that you're here to learn to let go. So spiritual practice, walking in nature, seeing a counsellor, an advisor, to help you let go of feelings that cause negativity in your life. So go back to anything that has happened in your past. If it is still causing you negative thought and action, or anything negative now, and it's just not serving you, let go in any way you can. You must understand that all experience occurs to teach us something for our soul development. You must learn not to avenge, but to learn and to evolve by experience. Very, very important. So I hope you found my video really useful today. If you haven't already, please subscribe and smash that bell icon. Otherwise, you won't be told about all my latest uploads. I've got courses on Udemy that I'm going to put in the description box. I've got a master course that's still being uploaded. It's going to end up being about 60 hours long, but it is a master reader course that's going to give you in detailed knowledge on how to be a numerology reader yourself. So that is coming up. I'm putting stuff on it every day, but it could take me a little bit longer to upload the other 60 hours. I've only uploaded 12 hours worth so far. But if you'd like to ask for a reading, please email me or contact me on social media, or request a video, or just have a chat. Ask me any questions. I love to hear from you guys. As ever, I want you to trust the soul within you, because only you in here know what's best for you. See you soon.